Namo Buddhaya, Namaste. I have arrived here in KETOHALLI, near Bengaluru, or Bangalore, in the state of Karnataka, in southern India, the south of India. I flew into Bengaluru airport on Monday evening, spent one night at the Mahabodhi Society Buddhist Monastery in Bangalore, in the city. The Uposatha day was yesterday. It was a special festival day, Asalha Puja. This day commemorates it's one of the 4 Buddhist holy days, Buddhist festival days, the main ones, celebrated all over the world. It being the celebration of the first teaching, so it is often called Dharma Day, being as Dharma means the teachings of the Buddha, as well as also it means the truth, so it could be in reference to nature or the goings on in the universe and other realms, if you choose to understand that too. So Asalha Puja will be celebrated usually by evening chanting, puja, offering of incense, candles and flowers. I've in fact been offered flowers this morning. My flowers I put in the shrine room here, and the one I kept has died. I'm not big on flowers, but maybe it knows. I have some incense and a candle, but that's normal for me. Although in the forest where I've just come from in Thailand, I didn't really have that. They were very the particular monastery, they weren't very keen on those things either. I do like incense though myself, and candles. A few mosquitoes coming around. There seem to be more mosquitoes here than where I was. But anyway, I arrived for the Asalha Puja. It is also, being the Uposatha day, the day we recite our Patimokkha, the 227 Bhikkhu rules, which we did in the afternoon, and then I was driven over here. In future I can go on a combination of bus and metro train into the city centre for each 15 days, this Uposatha rules recitation. But on this occasion someone drove me to make it a little easier on my second visit here. Because now I remember I did come to the inauguration a couple of years ago in 2021, July 2021, where we established the stone outside. Now tomorrow or at some point I will give you a nice guided tour of what we have here. It's very simple. This is my kuti, a little larger than the other, and it's brick built, but as you see I might as well be in the same place. My bowl, my masangati, my little sitting cloth and me, and a mat on the floor. That's about it wherever I go. The most luxurious of hotel, you put me in there and that's how it will be. Because that's all I need. But we have a little outside bathroom, washroom, whatever you like to call it, of the usual kind of Asian style. There is not a sala as elaborate as the proportions of the sala in where I've just come from, but a shed really in the grounds here, where there's a gas stove with a kapia who I've just had my first meal here, cooked the most delicious. I didn't go on Pindapat this morning, but he cooked the most delicious meal, rice and vegetables, sabji and dal, that's my favourite meal really. And it was wonderful, wonderful. So well nourished, I think I'll be here. But we'll go on Pindapat each day in the nearby village, of which there's a choice of a few villages, so we have some variety for them and for us. When I say us, staying here with me are two Samaneras. They are novice monks, so that's pre-higher ordination of Upasampada when you become a Bhikkhu. So they have slightly less rules. They have 10 precepts, Dasa Sila, and 75 training rules, because they're training in the practice to become bhikkhus after a year or 2 years. And Anagarika, whom is homeless, here they don't wear white, they wear these robes, but so you'll see 3 in the videos if they all appear in my videos, which they will in the background. 3 robed monks, 2 are Samaneras, 1 is actually an Anagarika, and the Kapya, who is a layperson, but he's living here. I don't know whether he's on the 8 precepts or not. That hasn't arisen yet for me to give precepts, so I'll only know that when that happens. Because people often come in India to take 5, 8 or 10 precepts, well 5 or 8 precepts on quite a regular basis. It's not so regular in Thailand because it's a foregone conclusion that they're on 5 precepts, they're born into Buddhism. Here, slightly different than other places in the world. So that's my company here. They seem to speak good English, which is very refreshing after 7 months of no conversation. So really I haven't stopped talking. I've really been a motor mouth, as they say, since I arrived. So that will calm down as I settle. A bit like meditation, when we sit down, we're first buzzing, yes, with our minds, and even our bodies are active. We allow it to settle slowly, just allow our minds to settle, like sand settling in water, allow our bodies to settle, yes, and become still. And then, in time, our minds become calm and our bodies relax. So very much in life, this is the same, like the 5 hindrances of desire, sensual desire, and aversion, ill will, tiredness, restlessness and worry, thinking about the future, worrying about the past, or vice versa. And doubt, doubt about why, what we're practicing, does it work, will it work? This is an easy one to get rid of, because if you just do it, you'll see through your own experience. Restless and worry, a little harder, because you have to let go of the past and not worry or think about the future, at least for your time in meditation. Tiredness, this is lifestyle, and also as you find your meditation more and more enjoyable, you become more enthusiastic and therefore less tired. Like a child on Christmas Day morning may have had no sleep whatsoever, but the last thing they are is tired because it's Christmas Day morning. Well, if you're a good Buddhist meditator, every day is Christmas Day, yes? Even though we're not Christians, we have that same positive, happy feeling every day, like Christmas. And I'm going backwards through the hindrances you see here. Aversion, ill will, well, we just have to accept what is as it is, without judgment. And we can't change what we don't like, but we can, with patience, endure it. And we all have to endure different things at different times in our lives. But we know from past experience, we get through those times. Very few of us, especially watching this, have not had past bad experiences that we are now over, almost forgotten. Maybe some people are still struggling, I do accept that, with traumatic events. But mostly, even those people can think of things back in their lives that were terrible at the time. And you thought you'd never get over this girl or this boy that left me, or this person, pet that died. It was so tragic. But now you're okay. So we know that those things are impermanent, anicca, and that suffering is gone after some time because it's impermanent, dukkha. But we know also things are out of our control, anatta. So this is how we treat aversion, ill will. With that knowing, that knowledge of anicca, dukkha, anatta, we're able to not judge, just accept it for what it is, and, well, it's a cliche, but move on. This is how it is. This is how it has to be. It's just that. And then sensual desire. Well, this is a tricky one. We all want some nice things. I must say, I had my most thing I craved, wanted in the forests of Thailand when I was there, was that terrible drink that I spoke of before. Not coffee. I had plenty of coffee. So because I had plenty of coffee, I had no cravings for coffee, but that terrible drink Mountain Dew, which is basically coffee, caffeine, with a whole bunch of sugar and horrible E-numbers and colours and dyes. It's probably pure poison, but they sell it in India, and it's the one drink that's quite large, because most of their drinks are quite small, and I like to have, I'm a English person, they drink pints and things like that. We drink volume, probably quantity rather than quality, I don't know, but I like that stuff. So I did crave it a bit, and one of the first things I asked the driver who brought me from the airport, I said to every shop, stop there, they were all closed. But the next morning I got someone, I went straight to town to my little shop where I know sells it in Bangalore, through all of the hustle and bustle, after 7 months of just quietness and solitude and no talking and just animals and nature, to this busy city to go and drink a bottle of Mountain Dew. And you know, I expected this to all be rather traumatic for me after the experience of such tranquility and such good opportunities and good meditation. 7 months, it was, you know, people see me now and here, I'm going on my rains retreat here for 3 months in India. Well, really, I've just been on 7 months retreat. This is more my rains experience now, because I can have a very beautiful retreat here. You'll see more of this place. I will give you a guided tour tomorrow, rather than try to explain it, or the next day. When I wanted today, as I say, continue with settling, and also spend 48 hours in the place to see how the day manifests, the routine, and fit in, not get in the way of the Anagarika, the 2 Samaneras, and the Kapya, whom live here permanently. From what I've seen, I could very happily live here permanently too, but I think I say that wherever I go, and then you see 7 months later, oh, he's somewhere else. This is the nature of being a monk, after all. This is why I'm a monk, and I'm not living in a house, happily married, settled in a village or a town until I retire there and get buried there. I'm a monk, I wander, I travel. So this is sensual desire. We have this. Now, this can easily be remedied by getting all of the enjoyment you need and the satisfaction, with the accept that you can get from Mountain Dew in your meditation. I'm joking. Of course, I can get much more satisfaction and peace and tranquility in meditation than I can that terrible drink. But, you know, a fruity, sharp, caffeine filled, fizzy, cold drink doesn't do me too much harm. Maybe it does. And I can very happily do without it. I've gone years without it, so there we go. And I'll probably not have another one now. It was just the thing in my mind. This is how our mind tricks us. Some people it might be bananas, some are red mangoes. You know, it's one of these things, it just comes up. It's Mara. Mara is this tempter. He's a man, he's a mythological man who represents our kilesas of greed, hatred and delusion. Now, you could think of him as a devil, if you like, the devil, if you equate it to something from Christianity. I tend to think of Mara as this temptress, you know, abandoned kind of woman, because it, you know, I'm a man. I think, you know, a lady can think of Mara as a man can think of Mara as a lady, because this is, of course, one of our other sensual desires, sexual desire or lust, that will arise and be a hindrance in meditation. And as I started off saying, these 5 hindrances in meditation are also our 5 hindrances to our, or obstacles, we could say, to our success in life, the things that throw us off our determination, take us off our path, the direction that we're concentrating on, the things that distract us, take our energy away from the task in hand. So it can equally apply to everyday life, which is how meditation, with the training of dealing with these 5 hindrances, applies to everyday life and helps you become successful. So it isn't just about peace, calm and tranquility. You will naturally, and even the Buddha spoke of this in terms of practicing metta bhavana, practicing the development of loving kindness as an attitude, not something you radiate to others, although this is a practice and can be done. Even the development of that attitude within yourself will make you more appealing as a person. If you're selling something, whom is more likely to buy something from you? Someone who feels that you are treating them with respect, with loving kindness, or just another customer. So this is how it works. It all interweaves together with our lives. So whether you're Buddhist or whether you're non-religious or of another faith, you can watch these videos and still pick something up which isn't coming from me, it is coming from the teachings of the Buddha via my experience, albeit a little bit, different to what you might have seen before. Because I am coming from a background of lay life. I've been a monk for a few years, but I've been a lay person, well, not fully grown up, but for 50 years. I'm 56 years old now, so 50 years really getting on that way, and 3 years as a monk. So I'm applying my very intensive practice over 3 years, although I've been practicing meditation and been a Buddhist for more like 15 now. But certainly living as a monk for 8 years now, 9 years now, on 8 precepts, which is no killing, stealing, celibacy, it's sexual misconduct in the 5 precepts, actual celibacy in the 8 precepts. So no killing, stealing, so celibacy, no sexual activity whatsoever, no lying, and no taking of any intoxicants whatsoever. So that's the 8 precepts and the 5 precepts. In the 8 precepts also we have no entertainment, so I can't watch Netflix or go to cinema or listen to music. It's quite specific because these are only satisfying our cravings of sensual desire. There's nothing morally wrong with these additions though, as there's nothing morally wrong with, sexual activity, as long as it's not sexual misconduct. So within the 8 precepts, what's added is just to further benefit our practice. It isn't anything that's additionally moral. The morality is all held within those 5 precepts. So yes, so this is where my talking is coming from that experience of life, and then applying this in more recent intensive practice to the hindsight of the life I've lived, and seeing how it would help me now in lay life if I was a lay person, but certainly can help lay people now. Having arrived, we had Asalha Puja yesterday. I was settling in just here and missed the actual puja of last night, the chanting in the temple. So there was no lay people coming. It's mainly, a lot of these festivals are for the lay people, because of course the monks are practicing like this chanting every night. So we don't need to get together, especially on these occasions, because we're together doing this each and every day. Here we chant at 6 a.m. I've only found this out this morning. I wanted to check, and it fits in exactly with my own normal schedule of they chant at 6 a.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. in the evening. So that's a little different from where I was, but more the conventional way. I will hopefully be able to show you some of that also in the months, days and weeks and months to come. I think it's going to be a little bit more acceptable for me to do this here. I very distinctly got the impression it wasn't that acceptable where I was to be doing this. In fact, I was kind of told that when I, not directly, and not in so many words, but I got that impression. And I fully understand and appreciate and agree with their point of view in the country where I was. I won't go into that anymore. That's as it was. When I go back there, if I go back to that monastery after the rains, then I'll need to speak to them to get proper permission for me to talk to you like this. Here, I'm not sure either, but I think it's okay. I've got some many questions and answers to answer, because of course I have answered you directly where I can, but I've kept copies so that I can run through them for everyone's benefits, those questions that have come through the comments section. And I suppose you can always read those too, but I can give more full answers and explanations on some of the points in coming talks. I have I have no reservations about it. I have reserved and not got round to yet the long overdue promised talk on, what was it about? Oh yes, Anapanasati, mindfulness of the breath, samadhi, meditation. So the taught method of meditation by the Buddha. Yes, I do need to talk about that because I promised that I would, and in probably the next few days I'll be doing that also. The place where I am, you just may have heard some noise there. There's some work. Lay people we're building 2 new kutis, like the kuti I had in Thailand, wooden kind of things, I think. I'm not sure, I haven't seen any plans or anything like that. I'd imagine it would take some time. It's about 5 acres on sort of rock and grassland. There are a few nice mature trees. There is a little bit of forest, which is actually a charnel ground, an actual graveyard, where it's not used now, but there are all the people that were buried. Now, I'm not sure whether it's the case here, but often in Asian countries you're only buried for certain reasons that they can't cremate you, burn you. That also applies to the dead bodies that they put whole into the River Ganges. So I think if you die by really unfortunate circumstances, it's a shock, sudden death, or you're murdered, or it's suicide, or you're possessed of some kind of like evil spirit, I think that's the only occasion on which it is called for you to be buried. This could be completely out of court, I do not know. This is what I have heard and understand. Otherwise everybody's cremated here in India, as I think. But this will be where those unfortunate people are buried. So there seems to be quite a bit of amongst the monks here, quite a bit of trepidation and fear of ghosts and such like, which I have no problem with whatsoever. I might go and spend some nights in this forest. I would need a tent, I think, because of the mosquitoes, so I'll get a little tent if I can. I spotted a place on the way here that I think might sell tents. I was purposely looking because I thought maybe, if they didn't have the right kind of accommodation here or something like that, I might need a tent at some point. But the accommodation I have is quite separate from the other monks. It's very adequate, you can see, this is it. I'll show you maybe a bit more. Well, no, this is it, what you're seeing. So, yes, I'm very happy to be here. I hope that you can be happy to continue to listen to me. I've got lots to talk about. I haven't told you so much about Asalha Puja, and I haven't told you so much about my journey here and all of the things I've encountered. The big surprise to me is that I thought going into the busy city after the retreat I've had for 7 or 8 months would be quite difficult, but it was completely the opposite. I've very much developed so much in the last few months, more equanimity towards distraction, towards noise. You probably know India, and the cities especially, are very hectic places, and certainly by the time I left here, having had 3 years here of that, I was pulling my hair out at the end of my tether. I'd had enough. And I was concerned that after such a peaceful time in Thailand, this might bother me. But I knew I was coming to a peaceful place, so it was only a very temporary part of it. But having been there this last couple of days, and also the travel, going to Bangkok and getting to the aeroplane, the airport, and then here at the airport with immigration, oh, that was an ordeal, a whole talk in itself. And then getting to the monastery. Then the monastery itself is very busy, over 100 monks, and then going to get my Mountain Dew in the town, and then all of these things. Absolutely fine. You're really very, very comfortable with it all, and was able to meditate as soon as I got here, and really settle in very, very quickly. I also seem to have some old SIM cards I've resurrected to get working, and trying some internet, so we're in a work in progress, but I'll see how long it takes to upload. But from what I can see, I think the whole procedure will be a lot easier than it was before in terms of uploading. I think it will be considerably quicker. Well, it really couldn't be slower. So it's onwards and upwards from here in that respect. I think that'll do for today. This is really just the first video to let you know I'm here, and I will be structuring and talking to you more on Dharma, more on meditation, and all of these other aspects of monastic life. This is our Kapia, he's just returned. He's got a little scooter thing, so he's probably been into town to get some more dal or rice, I don't know. And in the next few days, weeks and months to come, I'll look forward to that. Hope you can join me also. And if I have managed to fit in anything at all that's useful today, then please use it. But if not, you can just leave it. Thank you for watching.